on a wooded hillside.
Hey there, my name is Lisa Belcastro, and I'm so excited to share with you some inexpensive ways to make sports more accessible to athletes with disabilities. For over a decade, I have been working in the disability sport community as an adapted physical education teacher, volunteer, and advocate. Like many who run disability sport programs, funding is often limited. Even on a shoestring budget, we must find creative ways to accommodate the needs of every athlete in our program. No one deserves to be left on the sidelines, and we're here to make sure that never happens.
A title montage depicts modification of equipment. Text, D.I.Y. Adapted Sports Equipment with Lisa Belcastro. A project by the U.S. Department of State Global Sports Mentoring Program. A graphic of a U.S. flag, emblems of Department of State United States of America and Sports Diplomacy U.S. Department of State, and the logo for the University of Tennessee Knoxville Center for Sports, Peace and Society.
Today, we will be talking about archery. This is one of my favorite sports to teach the athletes that I work with. This is because there are many adaptations that can be made to increase independence and make the sport more accessible to all of our athletes. When teaching archery, what would you do if one of your athletes struggled with gross or fine motor control? What could you do to make the sport more accessible to those whose range of motion may be limited in their hands and fingers? With some out-of-the-box thinking and creativity, we're going to look at inexpensive ways to answer both of those questions. Today, we will be building an adapted PVC archery stand. This idea came to me after realizing the difficulty of adapting archery for athletes with specific degrees of cerebral palsy or limited range of motion in their hands and fingers. This PVC archery stand is very inexpensive, easy to build, very durable, and most importantly, it will ensure all of our athletes can participate.
She stands outside a barn. Text, the build. Shops for equipment at a hardware store.
Over the years, I've found that I really enjoy working with PVC. PVC is incredibly durable, easy to work with, and best of all, it's really inexpensive. To build the adapted archery stand, here are the materials that you'll need. PVC, a dowel rod, T-fittings, elbow fittings, and a gear tie. You will also need a couple of tools: a saw, duct tape, permanent marker, measuring tape, PVC primer, and PVC cement. When I built my first piece of equipment, I'd never even picked up a saw. You might be a master builder, or maybe you've never picked up a tool in your life. Regardless of your comfort level or experience, I want to assure you, there's nothing to be intimidated by. Building with PVC is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1, cut the PVC into the lengths you need. Step 2, connect the PVC using the proper fittings. And finally, step 3, cement the pieces into place.
Step 1, cut.
You will need two 10-foot lengths of 1-inch PVC pipe for this project. Grab your saw, and let's start by cutting our PVC pipe into the lengths we need. First, we're going to take our tape measure. We're going to measure out 24 inches. We're going to mark it, and we're going to put a letter A on it.
A full build guide is available in the description.
Next, we're going to take our saw, and we're going to cut straight down. Next, you're going to need 4 12-inch pieces marked with the letter B and 2 11-inch pieces marked with the letter C. Now put all these pieces aside. They're going to be used for the base of your stand. Next, for the upright of your stand, you're going to need 1 30-inch piece marked with the letter D and 1 12-inch piece marked with the letter E. Finally, for the arm of your stand, you're going to need 1 24-inch piece marked with the letter F and 1 11-inch piece marked with the letter G.
Step 2, connect.
All right, we're going to start off with our base of our archery stand. You're going to grab the piece marked with the letter A, and then you're going to need 2 90-degree elbow fittings. You're going to secure them to either end of the piece marked with the letter A, and then you're going to grab 2 of the pieces marked with the letter B. You're going to fit them into the remaining openings of the 90-degree elbow fittings. Next, you're going to need 2 T-fittings. You're going to secure them to the other end of the piece marked with the letter B. You're going to grab your remaining 2 pieces marked with the letter B, secure them to the outside opening of the T-fitting. Next, you're going to grab your 2 pieces marked with the letter C and 1 T-fitting. You're going to connect those together in a straight line using your T-fitting, and then you're going to secure those to the base by fitting them into the remaining openings of the other two T-fittings. And that's your base. Now we're gonna set that aside and we're gonna move forward to the upright of our archery stand. The upright of your archery stand is really easy to build. You're gonna start off with the piece that you marked with the letter D, and you're gonna grab a T-fitting. You're gonna secure it just like that to one of the ends, and then you're gonna grab your piece marked with the letter E. You're gonna create a straight line by securing it to the opposite opening of your T-fitting. You'll set that aside, and then we're gonna move to the arm of our archery stand. You're gonna grab your piece marked with the letter F, and then you're gonna grab your 90-degree elbow fitting. You're gonna secure it to one of the ends, and then you're gonna grab your piece marked with the letter G, secure it to the opposite opening. For the arm of the stand, go ahead and grab the piece marked with the letter F. Measure 6 inches from one of the ends, make a mark. We're gonna drill a hole straight down.
1/2-inch drill bit.
All right, next you're gonna grab your final piece, which is a T-fitting. You're gonna secure it to the opposite end of the piece marked with the letter G. Now we're gonna put the 3 different pieces together. You'll take the upright and you'll secure it to the final opening of the T-fitting. And then you'll take the arm, secure it to the opening of the T-fitting. And that's your archery stand.
Step 3. Cement.
Now that I've completed my piece of equipment and I'm happy with how it looks, I need to cement it into place. This will ensure that it stays strong and working for years to come. In this step, we're essentially going to take the piece of equipment apart and put it back together again, but there's a reason for that. I find it helpful to build the piece of equipment to make sure that I'm happy with the measurements and the structure prior to cementing the pieces together. Let's say I cemented the pieces together as I was building it. What if I get to the end and I realize my measurements were off? The problem is the cement is so strong it's almost permanent. If I realize I made a mistake after they were cemented together, I may have just wasted a lot of time and resources. Now we're going to cement our archery stand together, but there's a couple of joints that you don't want to cement. Here's why.
The vertical pipe at the center.
We want to make sure that this is able to move back and forth, and that our archery stand is able to move side to side. So here's the joints that you don't want to cement. Anything that touches a letter C.
5 points along the lower pipe.
So that's going to be here, 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 and here. Now we're going to cement our archery stand together. This can get a little messy, so I've put down a piece of cardboard. Let's get started. I'm going to pull apart my first joint. I'm going to grab my primer.
Make sure you complete this step in a well-ventilated area. She brushes the ends in a circular motion.
And I'm going to prime a piece of PVC and the inside of the joint. Next, I'm going to need my cement.
Removes the lid and runs the round brush around end of the pipe.
I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cement the PVC pipe and the inside of the fitting.
Inserts the fitting into the pipe.
I'm going to hold it into place just for a minute to allow the cement to dry. Now I'm going to cement the rest of the archery stand together, being mindful not to cement any joints that touch a piece marked with the letter C.
Demo. A man in a wheelchair next to the stand.
Now we're going to utilize our archery stand. First thing we need to do is secure our bow to the stand. We're going to do that using duct tape.
A full bow and arrow build guide is available in the description.
Rip off a good long piece. You're going to need to secure above the T-fitting and below the T-fitting.
She wraps tape around the 2 pieces.
Go ahead, rip off another long piece of duct tape.
She wraps another strip of tape above the first section.
Okay, it's secure. Now we're going to have to make our trigger. We're going to use a gear tie and a dowel rod to do that. Take the gear tie and we're going to wrap it all the way down the dowel rod. We're gonna take the trigger and we're gonna put it inside that hole that we drilled on our archery stand.
Inserts it into the hole.
Next, we're gonna pull the bowstring back behind the trigger.
The man pushes and pulls the bow.
You're gonna see that the archery stand can move the bow side to side and front to back. Go ahead, Jake, you can fire.
When he pulls the cord on the trigger, the arrow shoots forward. He shoots 2 more arrows the same way.
I told you that was gonna be easy. In just a few simple steps, we've created a piece of equipment that increases independence and accessibility. With all the benefits this archery stand brings, it can be built for just $15. Be sure to tag us on social media with your builds. Links to our social media accounts are available in the description. I'd like to thank the U.S. Department of State, especially the Sports Diplomacy Division, and the University of Tennessee Center for Sport, Peace, and Society. We hope this project design serves you and your athletes well. Thanks for watching.
Complete build guide available in the description. D.I.Y adapted sports equipment.